you imagine how upset and disgusted Meredith and Olivia must be of their mother, Taylor Swift, and her doing absolutely nothing for the cats of Watermelon? Imagine. Imagine. Anywho, that's not the point of this video. Something else that came up for me very loudly today as I had this horrible experience with my professor is and I just want to preface this by saying this is not an original thought, sadly, and there are actually quite a lot of other white women creators who have articulated this better than I'm about to. So please check out Hope Peddler. I'll tag her if you're not following her. She articulates it beautiful. I even duetted her video where she does so. You can scroll down. It was posted like in the last 3 days. It's one thing to comprehend it. It is quite another thing to truly understand with a capital U. And more often than not, sadly, it's because we have to, as white people, especially white women, I'm talking to you, methinks myself enlightened, but I'm not. Too often, it's not until X, Y, and Z come knocking at our door, until we have to walk a mile, that we're like, oh, this is what they've been experiencing, right? And it really wasn't for me personally until about a year and a half ago that I really, and I'm certainly not comparing my personal plight to anybody else, but I'm just in my lived experience, like it wasn't until a year and a half ago where I have for the first time experienced like whatever amount of oppression I can experience, mostly capitalist, mostly patriarchal, right? That, radicalization and doing the work aside, that I've really been able to understand in my like mitochondria, right? Like the powerhouse of my cell now actually understands what it means to listen to and believe Black, brown, and indigenous women. And it's too little too late. And that's why the vote blue no matter poo situation is just a hot fucking mess, because white liberal women do the fucking least, myself included, okay? My shit is too little too late. It's too little too late. But as I was in my hour meeting with my professor today on this sex and gender course that I'm retaking, and I'm reading new material because the syllabus is different. Most of the material is by queer author, women, Jesus Christ, women authors, queer women authors, bell hooks, and a lot of indigenous authors, a lot of queer indigenous authors, right? And they're speaking, about, village and community, and, they're saying decenter men, they're saying decenter romance and platonic traditional nuclear marriage without saying it, right? Among other things that they're saying. And this has been hitting me in the face for the better part, really, since this app became available to us 4 years ago-ish, right? Or, to the majority of us, when we realized it wasn't just a child's dancing app. But very specifically because the last year and a half, really almost 2 years, going from making six figures, being very left of center, but not having anything other than like my mom being addicted to a crystallized form of a powder for a decade. I didn't really like have any oppression in my life. I didn't really have any trauma in my life. And going from making six figures, low six figures, in the Bay Area to surviving off of $40 a month, it's gonna turn you left faster, like it will make your head spin. You're going to be going left, 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 hard left. Anyways, suffice it to say that, like, it hit me over the head today when I was reading some of the quotes from these texts and just kind of reflecting on them with my professor, and you can watch my previous video for how well that experience went, that it really just drove home for me that first of all, people need to be reading, and that's a whole different conversation, because look at our education system, the literacy, child literacy, adult literacy rate, it's just horrible. Children are behind in school, and so it's very easy to say read more, because reading more is not easy for most people. Reading at all is not easy for most people, because it's sadly a privilege in this fucking reality literacy is a privilege. It's just whatever, it's a joke. But those of us that have the good fortune to be literate and have access to a public library, or however you acquire your reading materials or audiobooks, to be reading more. And white women need to be doing nothing else in their fucking spare time than reading books by Black, brown, and Indigenous women. Period, end of story. When I watch people like Portia, White Woman Whisperer, Breezy Fox, I'm not gonna be able to name every, Dr. Nicole Truesdell, like every Black woman creator on this app that has been educating us for free, carrying our load for us in the voting booths, has been saying you should have been listening to Black women from Jump Street. And like in my bones, as much as I as a white woman can, I do understand, like, and feel and live that now. And you can probably find it very easily if you know what you're looking for. But when Kwame Ture was giving an interview, and he said, peace is the white man's word, liberation is pretty much everybody else's word. White consciousness has been fixated on peace and kumbaya, because peace is what allows exploitation to continue unchecked. Liberation is the focus. It needs to be the primary focus for everyone, because look at what is happening to Kate Cox in Texas. And I know there's a lot of stuff going around that she was pro-life until this happened to her. And was a lot of discourse a year ago when Roe v. Wade got overturned, or however long ago that was, about like, we're not going to help the women who need schmorshans who were pro-life. And I agreed to a certain extent with that sentiment for a long time, but now I think we're beyond that, and I think, like, again, liberation for all, and that means, unfortunately, fighting for the shitty people too. Same thing with abolition, right? Like, that means getting uncomfortable with being comfortable with a lot of unsavory people. I always go back to that scene in White Man Can't Jump when Woody and Wesley are in the car, and, like, he's saying, like, you hear Jimmy, but you're not listening to Jimmy. Like, we comprehended that we should have been listening to Black, brown, and Indigenous voices, specifically women, but, like, we really, like, it was an abstraction. Like, it was over there, just like everything is for white people. It's over there, right? Like, yeah, of course I listen to, of course I believe them, sure, but, like, there's a difference between pedagogy and praxis. There's a difference between understanding it and living it. And I don't know. I don't know what this is. It's my gift to you.